Cool. All right. Do we have a segue for this last piece?
So Nate, you were saying if you were on Tidal and you want to you want to watch the band live in real time. Well, what's better than watching a band through your screen?
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. Actually,
Terrible
love it.
segue.
Segue king. No, that was good. That was that was good. Yeah,
I
it's
prompted
actually
you,
seeing
so that's why.
it's actually seeing the band live, which we talked about with Lauren Wayne last week, GM of the State Theater in Portland, Maine, which is actual live shows, which is weird to talk about in like retrospect because it did happen at one time, and it seems like it's coming back to fruition here, both in Texas and Mississippi. They have shows booked, right? That's crazy.
They're open. Texas
They're
especially.
open.
They're wide ass open. They're like, let's do this. We no masks, no nothing. I don't even care
Yep.
if you've had a vaccine. We're just back to normal, which is stupid, but whatever. Different story for a different day. My point there is, yeah, they're opening their venues. If you're gonna go play a show, I guess if you're gonna be a band, you're gonna be the safest, in the safest spot on stage around people you've been around. But shows are back. I mean, it's not even just in those places. I saw a flyer for a show in Vegas in the fall. I saw
Yep.
a couple flyers for the band Goose, which we mentioned months ago now. Our buddy Nate, in different Nate in North Carolina, big fan of them. They're playing socially distanced shows in May in like Tennessee and Maryland and a few places like that. So people are really ready to get back out there, is what I'm seeing.
In these two states, Mississippi and Texas, was 100% full capacity this month.
Yeah, crazy. It's crazy.
Full capacity. They've lifted the mask mandate, as we just talked about. So yeah, I mean, if you're in those regions, live music's back for you. You know, I'm kind of jealous.
I'm jealous.
I'm jealous, but it's a little early, maybe not. I don't know. I mean, are they disregarding science, or are they just kind of like whatever? I don't know. You have more insight there, Tone.
Yeah, Nate is alluding to the fact that I work in the medical field and have been.
Well, because you said that's dumb. I'm like, well,
it's
you know.
dumb. No, it is. It's dumb. It's not just, oh, hey, people are getting vaccinated. Numbers are starting to dip a little bit. Let's open everything. No, that's not how this works, man. Like we still gotta like follow it. Now, I don't want to be locked down forever. Trust me. I want this to go away as much as the next person. I'm ready to go to a concert. It has been like 17 months since I've been to one, so I'm ready. But I want to do it correctly, and I don't want to get back out there too soon with a bunch of people who are in the younger demographic who are just going to pass it around to other people and maybe get somebody else sick and die. So let's wait a little bit. But different story for a different day. Not wanting to get too political here. I do think that this is a good thing. I do think we're heading in the right direction as a country. I think things are going better, and we're probably, for us, and maybe a little bit sooner for you, Nate, being outside and having more access to outside, maybe early to midsummer for a place like Southern Maine to have shows outside, at least when the weather's good and we can pull that off at somewhere like Thompson's Point, mentioned last week with Lauren Wayne. I could see that happening.
Yeah, it's polarizing. I only brought you in because you have a little more insight.
You just wanted to hear me rant.
I just want to hear you rant. But I mean, I'm excited too. I mean, I want to go to live shows. I mean, and California, like you said, like there's more outdoor space here, live outdoor venues and so forth. And California's got a few too, like System of a Down concert scheduled for, I think, October.
Mm-hmm.
That I was originally going to check out last year. That looks like it's back on. A festival I go to every year called the Ohana Festival is, everything I'm seeing on their socials says it's slated to be on schedule for September, actually, in Dana Point, which is in Orange County. So that's Eddie Vedder's music festival. So it's like, okay, if this is happening, like we talked about with Lauren, like I'm going to buy the tickets and just hope for the best. Whether I feel comfortable at that time is a different story. But, if it's ready to go, I mean, I'm ready to go, with all things said, but I'll just have to wait. It's almost like an emotional thing, like even if I can go, like if I can race on the Autobahn and go 170 miles an hour, do I really want to? I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
So, but you're right. I'm happy that things are actually, there's light at the end of the tunnel.
It's another one of Nate's analogies that's great. The Autobahn one. That's you're spot on, man. Like, yeah, I can go 170, but do I want to die?
Yeah.
You've shifted from the food and restaurant analogies.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, the more I read about it, I think this is the new norm. I think okay, best case scenario, they have these shows and nothing happens in terms of spiking of coronavirus cases or whatever. Worst case scenario is something happens, but is that going to be enough for people to cancel things again? I don't know.
I think the spike would need to be big. It would need to be more than just one event, one super spreader, I'm saying in quotation marks, one more than just that. I think you would need to see a steady increase in numbers. That's what we've had happen in the past, right? Where we had a nice, like the state of Maine did really well last summer. Everybody is outside in the state of Maine in the summertime because the weather's good and it's such a short season for us. And our numbers were really good as far as COVID went, even with the tourists, some of the stuff we had still happening. And then it got cold and then people had to go inside and then numbers went up. So we adjusted as a state and weren't allowed to do a lot of stuff. And I think it'll happen again with this. If the numbers continue to go down because we're able to get outside more and we hear people getting vaccinated, it's going to get better. Hopefully it stays that way. That's the big question is, does it stay that way?
And I'm pretty sure this is full capacity for indoor and outdoor venues.
It's nuts. It's nuts.
Outdoor venues. So like Furnace Fest is coming up. They had shifted the date from last year. It was just announced happening in September, I think, of this year. It's in Birmingham, Alabama, and it's like outside at the Sloss furnaces. And if you can Google it and you can see why it's called Furnace Fest. But that's outside, and I think it's in almost like if you've ever been to Thompson's Point where there's the big outdoor structure where it's underneath. It's huge. I think there's enough room for people to spread out. Like that's one thing, but indoors, full capacity, I don't know. I mean, I could see this backfiring.
Mm-hmm. Right now.
Yeah. For these March shows. And again, it's only is it just a couple states?
Yeah, that's like Texas and Mississippi and a few states. It's not everywhere. The rest of this we're talking about is like May, June, July, September, October, that type of thing. So those are hoping that numbers stay down and vaccinations go up and we achieve some sort of herd immunity type thing.
Almost like these states are kind of test market states. Like, let's see how it goes in these secondary
in the
markets.
worst possible way.
Yeah. Unfortunately, like the lab rat type thing. Let's see how this goes, and if it goes well, then we'll open up California, New York, all the states that actually, pull some high revenue. But I don't know how I feel about it. Like we all talk about it. Like I want to go back to a live show so badly. And we talked about with Lauren last week. Like we're gonna buy every ticket to everything, but how soon is too soon and how late is too late? Like what is safe, what isn't? I mean, like you said, I talked about the Audubon thing. Like you can put your own self at risk. I think that everyone should have their own choice on the kind of risk they want to put themselves in. And that shouldn't be limited on, restrictions that may or may not coincide with real data. But at the end of the day, like everyone wants to be safe. You know what I mean? I don't want to go to a Slipknot show and come back and not even know that I'm ill and put other people at risk. So
right.
I'm trying to be sensible, but at the same time, a little selfish with the fact that like live music is a big part of our life. So I love collecting ticket stubs every year, and I kind of missed a year. So I almost have to double down this year. So
it's funny you say that, Nate. I was reading, I think it was Alt Press article.
Yeah.
And it has some stats. 83% of concert goers have held on to their tickets over the past year.
Mm-hmm.
So that shows you like they want to go. They kept the tickets. The other stat is 64% of fans plan to attend even more concerts than they did before when they return. So people are hungry. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
People are starving for this. And I think if they're offering full capacity, you'll see a lot of sellout venues.
People will go to those, especially if they're outdoors. I think I'm trying to put myself in these people's shoes. So if it's an outdoor venue in Texas that I'm familiar with and I know I could be in an area where I'm away from everybody and still enjoy the concert, I'd probably go right now. And that's me being vaccinated saying that. Pre-vaccination, I don't think I would. Indoors, I don't think I would. Even vaccinated right now, I don't think I would, because I wouldn't want to be somebody who, my vaccination worked well enough that I didn't know I had it and gave it to somebody else. So that's where I'd wait. But yeah, the whole thing is a difficult prospect, and it's too bad we don't know enough about it that we can all be on the same page. That's the hard part, is we don't know enough about how this is all going to work. So it's hard to be on the same page. So some people want to go and just be like the trailblazers and the ones who maybe jump the gun and do it a little too soon. But some are a little more cautious, a little more reserved, and want to, wait and see.
Yeah. To your point, Tone, as well, is like, it's all about respect. Like, I don't want to go and infect other people, but unfortunately, I'm looking at COVID-19 as the precursor to, I hate to say this, but it just seems like logical to think that this is kind of a precursor to maybe more pandemics in the future. So if we don't take this one seriously, then we're really not taking taking other pandemics serious that may have, more implications, higher risk. So we almost have to err on the side of caution, the fact that this is almost like a warning sign, like, hey, like the globe's changing. There's a lot of things that are coming at us faster than we know. I'm not saying it's doomsday, but this is a good warning sign. I think if we've learned anything, and we talked about earlier how this is like a year anniversary of this episode, is the world's changed a lot in 12 months, and it always has, but this has been one where we can kind of sit back and watch it change and evolve because we're home more, or we have more time to research, and obviously the power of the internet to get real facts and real data, not have to funnel everything through like a mainstream news source, and realize that, like, hey, I really like to do these amazing fun things, especially live music, but at the end of the day, like, I can't think about just me, so I want to always err on the side of caution, but at the same time, like, realize, like, fuck, man, we put together this podcast because of our huge appreciation for live music.
Totally.
So it's kind of like a tug of war,
You know what, though? So much for those fancy spacesuits, right? We're not going to...
So much for the space.
We're not going to...
I was looking forward to it.
Right?
I wasn't.
Or the big
Those looked sweaty
gerbil
and
balls,
hot.
the hamster balls.
Well, I do that, but the spacesuit that we talked about last May or whatever, I don't know, man. I don't want to. Who knows who was in that first, and how sweaty and gross that would be at a concert. But if it meant, okay, if we were right now told this is the only way I can go to shows, I would do it. But if I don't have to, I'm not doing it. It's gross. It grosses me out.
It's not supposed to. It's supposed to be a proactive measure. And I don't think they would invest that much money into something like that, the infrastructure to support mass production of a spacesuit to go to live shows if it wasn't going to work long term. So that's what
Your boy
I mean
Elon would. Your boy Elon would.
Exactly.
Just a flex. Just a flex, I mean.
Just a flex. I'm thinking everything has legs in the long run. So
Tidal, you can order your spacesuit to go to the show right here on Tidal.
Right now, branded with your Slipknot patch on the front. Yeah.
Slipknot patch on the front and SpaceX patch on the back.
And we'll record you in the crowd at the show, and you can buy the NFT after. Like this.
Oh man!
Boom. So this whole episode just boils down to we're in the future.